you?
Welcome back, everyone, and yes, nice little coffee stream, and yeah, bit of a bold title there, right? They've gone and solved Stonehenge. Well, we'll be getting into that live, raw. I'll be reading that for the first time with all of you right here on the show. We'll be having a coffee, we'll be getting ready for the main show as well, but just give me a moment. Until then, enjoy the tunes. There we go. Enough of that, I hear you all saying. So welcome back. Yes, another day, another stream. Not much to get into today. Just one of the oldest mysteries in the UK. Been solved, perhaps, maybe. We don't know. I don't even know. Because just before I went for a quick shower, I was going to be talking about some weird cryptidy type woo for our pre-show warm-up before we go over to the main game. And a good friend of ours, Armand, in the chat room, he sent me a link which changed plans completely. So yes, we're going to be looking at a story which claims that the mystery of Stonehenge has been solved. Wrong one. I knew it was going to be the wrong one today. I knew I'd get it wrong one of these days. Dang. That was meant to be my da-da-da. But no. But I'll keep you hanging on, right? Because before we get into Stonehenge, want to say a big thank you to Polly for last night. He phoned in and then I shamelessly dragged him on to the second hour of the show. And then we also had Sid from Norway. Probably one of the funniest phone calls I've ever had to take on the show, if Sid is out there. If you didn't hear it, we were talking about health type stuff and we were taking phone calls on that kind of topic. And we got a call that said it was from Canada. And when we got onto the line, it was somebody from Norway. And it was our good friend Sid. And you know Sid, he loves his ancient aliens, his disclosure, all of that stuff. So he managed to throw a question at the guest that has, in the 20 years of doing like radio and the stuff he talks about, never has he fielded a question about disclosure before. So Sid, hats off to you for that, dude. We had Kevin from Minnesota. He called in as well. Yeah, it was a rare time. Really, really good. So tonight we're going to be going over to Kevin McCairn, PhD, his channel. And I say that because I'm not trying to give him a big head. That's the best way to find him on YouTube. And I believe he probably, most likely, will be simulcasting on his YouTube channel. So you've got the choice of multiple places to catch the show. tfrlive.com. love to see you over there in the Wookiee cave. But I believe Kevin will be simulcasting that one as well. And we're going to be getting into something I can't talk about here. So what we're going to do now is we're going to get into the chat room. And we're going to give a shout out to some of the people I see in there. I say some now because I know on occasion I do miss one or two. It's not deliberate. It's just you get a bit flustered when you do all of this, right? So I've got Tiffany in there, Polly. Again, hats off for last night, sir. Good fun. Leslie, good to see you. Saint Marionette, Little Glob. Armand is in there. We've got Connie. Nothing as it seems. Cheryl is back. She's drinking tea today. I was kinda half fibbing when I said coffee. I've got mostly juice here today. I do have a bit of lukewarm, coldish coffee that may get swallowed. I don't know. But yeah, nothing as it seems says unhinged henge. I like that. I do like that. So we've got Tiffany. I think I said that one. Scroll up again. Blacktree, nice to see you. Who else we got? Bearded Traveller. Big shout out to the Wookiee who was first in the chat room today. That's a kind of throwback to the old internet days. Remember when people used to do that first? Well, we give credit first, but Bearded Traveller, I forgot to mention when he had been first on a previous stream. So big shout out to you as well. We've got who else kicking about in here? Star Traction. I like that. Yes, we like that. What else we got? We got the bearded one. I think we done you bearded. The Wookiee. Yep. I hopefully haven't offended anyone. If anyone's coming in late, we got 100th Monkey, Laurie, Rorschach. I think I got it right this time. Tony as well. Tony, I'm sorry to pull you away from that. Quite enthralling watching. There's another YouTube live stream on right now. You can go and watch all of the big tech giants taking some questions from politicians in the US. Very interesting indeed. So I know Tony was tuned into that. Good to see you here, brother. And yeah, let's get into it because we don't have too long today, but just long enough to get into this story. And I haven't read it. I got the headline through. I thought, that's it. That's perfect. So we are doing this live and we're going to do it together. And that sounds a whole lot more dodgy than it was meant to. It wasn't intended to sound like anything. But if we come over here, there you see it. It's not just me clickbaiting you in here, folks. There is a bold claim. And you got to admit, as far as claims go, that's a pretty bold one, right? Look at that. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. I took a couple of notes myself, you know. Near Amesbury, down in England, obviously. They say 2000 to, or 3000 to 2000 BC. That's the date that they give us. Me personally, before we get into any of this theories or the solved part of it, I can look at these earthworks in multiple ways. Because I don't know for sure what was going on. You know, talking with Don last night on the show, we were talking about herbs and plants, and the night before with Kevin as well. And I've always believed from a little guy right up to today that absolutely everything we need, it's natural. It's here anyway. That's not to knock the stuff that we've gone on to invent and produce. Dang. You know, we've made the most of what has been here. But back in these ancient times, you know, they developed a strong knowledge of plants, that kind of thing. But I also think that they were able to utilize one of the most abundant things that's here as well. Rocks. Perhaps not all rocks, but certainly rocks alone in themselves, I think are some kind of technology. Now, you could look at this as being almost like, think of acupuncture. If there's some kind of energy that is in the planet, most likely, then maybe they're trying to tap into it. Maybe they're trying to tap into that energy source for whatever reason. Perhaps it's something acoustical. I remember when I was working with James Swagger, I was kind of blown away by the fact there was a whole heap of acoustical stuff that went on with these megalithic sites and stoneworks. And if I'm correct, I believe all of these stones are all magnetically north and south all the way around as well. High knowledge, something very, very technical, I think. Perhaps something spiritual as well. Maybe when you're stood in that kind of energy field, it did kind of alter your consciousness. There's various ways of looking at this. So I'm keen to see just what they're going to tell us now. And it's the BBC, right? So it's going to be true. Definitely. Maybe. So if we come down here, it says the origin of the giant sarsen stones at Stonehenge has finally been discovered with the help of a missing piece of the site, which was returned after 60 years. So somebody just like upped and left with a big bit of Stonehenge, dropped off in the back garden. Somebody just stumbled across it 60 years later. Probably not. So a test of the meter-long core was matched with geochemical study of the standing megaliths, and archaeologists pinpoint the source of the stones to an area 15 miles north of the site near Marlborough. 15 miles. Doesn't sound like much, eh? I reckon we'd probably struggle to carry them 15 miles war, but maybe not these stones, but I don't know. Back in ancient times? Makes you wonder, doesn't it? So it says English Heritage's Susan Greeny said the discovery was a real thrill. So we're what, 1, 2, 3, 4 paragraphs into this, and they're still just teasing us with it, right? The 7-meter tall Saracens, which weigh about 20 tons, form all 15 stones of Stonehenge's central horseshoe, the uprights and lintels of the outer circle, as well as outline stones. So the monument's smaller blue stones have been traced to the Preseli Hills in Wales, but the Saracens had been impossible to identify until now. So the return of the core, which was removed during archaeological excavations in 1958, enabled archaeologists to analyse its chemical composition. No one knew where it was until Robert Phillips, 89, who was involved in those works, decided to return the part of it last year. So this cat's been holding on to this thing. I don't know if it's this bit here, maybe it is. He's been holding on to it for like 60 years. So researchers first carried out X-ray fluorescence testing of all the remaining Saracens at Stonehenge, which revealed most shared a similar chemistry and came from the same area. And that makes sense that they would come from the same area, right? Then they analysed Saracen outcrops from Norfolk and Devon and compared their chemical composition with the chemistry of a piece of the returned core. So English Heritage said the opportunity to do a destructive test on the core proved decisive, as it showed its composition matched the chemistry of the Saracens at Westwoods, just south of Marlborough. And Professor David Nash from Brighton University, who led the study, said it's been really exciting to harness 21st century science to understand the Neolithic past and finally answer the questions that archaeologists have been debating for centuries. Well, we might not have solved the entire mystery of the Stonehenge, but this is pretty cool. I do like this, and I do like the kind of science that they're talking about here. I know there's a lot of people don't like science these days, but I do like this. Makes sense to a layman like me, you know. I'm no expert. So it says here, each outcrop was found to have had different geochemical signature, but it was the chance to test the returned core that enabled us to determine the source area for the Stonehenge Saracens. And Ms. Greeny, I stand corrected. That weird word in that, isn't it? Ms. Greeny said to be able to pinpoint the area that Stonehenge's builders used to source their materials around 2500 BC is a real thrill. While we had our suspicions that Stonehenge's Saracens came from Marlborough Downs, we didn't know for sure. And with areas of Saracens across Wiltshire, the stones could have come from anywhere. Now, it'd be interesting to know. I would imagine they have. But I would hope they have like taken tests of the stones in the surrounding area. The reason I say that is because what if they've all got the same signature? What if one's over there of the signature of one's, I don't know, 20 miles away or something? That would kind of call this kind of proof into question. You see what I'm saying? And I get it, folks. I imagine they've tested that. I'm not being daft. I'm not just trying to find holes in this. So it says, they wanted the biggest, most substantial stones. Everybody loves big stones. Bigger the better, right? They couldn't find it and made sense to get them from as nearby as possible. Ms. Greenie added, the evidence highlights just how carefully considered and deliberate the building of this phase of Stonehenge was. So we're talking about 15 to 20 miles that they carried these big things. These big walloper bad boys there. Still a pretty amazing feat, right? Moving that any distance. And then how did they get them up there? And bear in mind they've got like little kind of it's like the stuff you get out of IKEA. You know, it's almost like little shapes that fit in, and it's the level of craftsmanship is I don't know. It's quite mind blowing. It truly, truly is. But listen, what we like to do here on KBS as well is I'm just one guy. I've just one opinion, and you've probably got your own opinions out there. So if you want to put your thoughts about what Stonehenge was for, you know, whether you think this is pretty cool, whether you think it's hocus pocus, that's all good. I'll be coming into the chat room, see what you've got to say. I'm going to get a little drink, PPP time for all you people out there. I know you're into a bit of that. Then we'll come back, and we might just be able to squeeze in a little bit of the dogman. What do you think? Can we have some dogman time today? Oh, I think we can. Yes, indeed. So, what do you think about Stonehenge, folks? Any of these megalithic sites, what were they used for? What do you think was going on there? Maybe you think ancient aliens. It could be. I don't know. I'm open to anything. Open to anything. I don't have a book to sell you, so I'm not here to kind of steer you one way or another. But I tell you what, these things are fascinating. Talking with Polly after the show last night, we got into the pyramids, and the two of us have always been drawn to the pyramids. Now, I can't say I've ever been drawn to Stonehenge, but there is something magical to these stone sites. That the older, the better. Clava Cairns, if you ever get to Scotland, up to Inverness. I know Loch Ness is the main game in town, but it's literally maybe 20 minutes drive from there, and you'll be in the Stone Circle out of Outlander. Oh, yes. I like that, Onslow. I like that. The first time I look at the chat room, Onslow, whoa. Damn. Mic drop. They descended, not erected. Oh, I like it. You lot rock. Oh, pardon the pun. Armand has been to all seven of these wonders in the world, and yep, I thought so. The pyramids are still the best. No, ZX, you're right there, brother. First time I seen it, I honestly thought, what, that's Stonehenge? But not to take anything away from it. So yeah, we'll get into the chat room. I'll also take you over. I'll show you Kevin's channel, Kevin McCairn. We'll also take a quick journey over to First Paranormal. He has also got some new videos up. He's got part 2 of the Ouija board in the old Ram's Head, or the ancient Ram's Head, I think. Maybe just a Ram's Head, I don't know, it's a pub, an old pub. But he's got the Ouija board in there. I got in trouble. I watched it before and got a chance. No shoe though, no shoe, just a look. So we've got all that to come. Bit of Dogman in the chat room. Let's see what people are saying. Yeah, nothing as it seems. That was really quite miffed. I was very miffed at that the other day when we had Donnie and Luna and Jess and Ken on, and they were showing us this amazing kind of stone circle and like a big trail, almost like a comet's trail, you know. And this was like the story of time from start till the yonder, you know. Gone, totally gone, ruined, you know. Makes you wonder how many of these sites are still to be uncovered or have been trashed. You look over in Mexico and the Amazon. I mean, the Amazon, I know they're still uncovering things in the Amazon. I know a lot of it's kind of going away, but they're still with LiDAR and things like that. There are still wonders, I think, on this world, still to be discovered. Many of them probably deep under the sea. Maybe lost under sediment. Who only knows? Who knows how many times we've gone through this bloody cycle? Really, come on. None of us can truly know that. We can all have our theories, we can all have our opinions, but none of us know. But it's great talking about this stuff. It really is. So, let's see. Yes, Susan, I was going to address that as well when I seen you asking that, sister. She's asking, where is James Swagger? If I knew where James Swagger was, I'd have that man. Even if he didn't want to come on radio, I'd be hanging with that man as much as I could. So, I've no idea, Susan. I wish I could help you there. Armand says, you can only appreciate the stones when you walk among them. I was in the bards, druids, ovids when I went there. So, Armand says the ring of Brodgar on Orkney is even better than Stonehenge. The ring of Brodgar? That sounds like something out of Lord of the Rings. I'll bring it up on the screen when I get it here, folks. Don't worry, I've not forgotten about you. Ring of Brogdar. There we go. Hang on, bring it up here. Crowdsource the woo, folks. That's what it's all about. Get some images of it first. Damn, I have seen that. Damn, dude. Yeah, that's mighty impressive, isn't it? Very much so. You know, when I used to do shows with Christopher Everard, you can kind of see it even more in this one. He used to talk about how it looked like an egg. These things looked like eggs, and they were almost like fertility things as well going on. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't there. I wasn't there when they built them. I don't know the intention. Don't know what they were used for. Pretty cool though, eh? Very, very cool. So if we come back, we'll see what it says about them. We'll go to that absolute library, the digital library of Alexandria, which is, yeah, Wikipedia. The Ring of Brodgar, what a brilliant name, is a Neolithic henge and stone circle about 6 miles northeast of Stromness on the mainland, and the largest island of Orkney, Scotland. It's part of the UNESCO World Heritage Site known as the Heart of Neolithic Orkney. There we go. Now, this actually, Armand, see these little places here? Is this the same place that Laird Scranton talks about when he talks about the connection to the Dogon and some of their architecture and some of the things that were going on there? I think it may be, you know, I think it may be Scarabray. Yeah, I think it is. I'm quite sure of that. Where are we here? These are the lines that the stones are on, kind of thing. That's kind of cool. So yeah, pretty danged cool. Right, back in the chat room. Back in the chat. Where are we? Let's see. Where did we go? Oh, rich in uranium. Dang. Makes you wonder again. Well, the stones are, or that big. What were they doing with these things, guys? What were they doing? The mind truly does boggle. I think there might even have been like multiple kind of purposes, multiple uses for these things. There are many sites in Orkney and huge fairy lore there too. We like our fairies in Scotland. No, now, don't say it. Don't say it. I'm the most toxic fairy in the forest. I really am. Talking of forests, one thing you might find in a forest is... Oh, the dogman. Yes, so yesterday Carol sent me some information. I've listened to a little bit of it. I'm going to be going back and listening to all of it. So, I said yesterday we'd talk a bit about the dogman. Didn't want to let you down today. I had some dogman stuff lined up. But then when the Stonehenge thing came along, I thought, oh, come on, we have to talk about that. And yeah, I don't know if they've solved the entire mystery. They've definitely cleared up one aspect, it sounds like. But there's still a lot of woo at Stonehenge, all of these places. But there's also a lot of creepier woo, as in that type of woo when it comes to Scotland again. We'll stay in Scotland here, I think, at the start of this one, if my memory serves me correctly. But yeah, dogmen reports from across the UK. Now, obviously, we won't be able to do all of these, but we'll certainly take a look at one or two of them. So it says here, I have been asked this week about British dogman accounts. And I have to admit, like most people, I know very little about them. I've heard many theories and ideas, I'll try and blow that up a bit, there you go, on who and what they are. I myself am unsure and don't feel qualified to answer the question. Nobody needs to be qualified in the woo. No, you just have to be steeped in speculation and opinion. That's it. That's all you need. You don't need to be qualified. Where would you go to get qualified in woo? You know, the Nick Redfern School of Woology? I don't know. Kev Baker School of Woo. Speculation Island. Ah. And the boat journey. You see how I'm going to make this little thing about the Speculation Island always talk about? We've now got our opening kind of scene. We've got the waves. We've got a bit of clouds moving. All I need's a bit of a boat in there. I was going to comically put the Titanic in there, but no, we're not going to be going on the Titanic. No, but it's coming along, and maybe we'll take a look at the opening intro tomorrow on the stream. How does that sound, right? But how did I get there? Because we always end up at Speculation Island, Kev. See, this is where Dave talks to me now. Maybe we'll start bringing Dave in more. Maybe I'll need to like turn on the voice changer for Dave or something. I don't know. It's a tricky subject here in the UK due to the odd lie and exaggeration by some untrustworthy people. But when the truth is told, this amounts to nothing more than hearsay and half-truths, and leaves us with valid witness accounts, just like the wild man accounts that come in. Now, the wild man is what we call our Bigfoot. I had no idea of this until I went to the Scottish UFO Paranormal Conference, and there was a lady there, and I feel terrible because I always forget her name, and I've had her on the show. She's one of the leading like Bigfoot people in the UK. I can't remember her name. Terrible. But it goes on to say here, the people with the accounts are the ones we should listen to. And like all subjects, it's easy to fear the unknown and to demonize things that we don't understand. It's by opening up to all the possibilities that we can start to pick away the truths. Like the wild man research, we can only go off what we see and hear, and the experiences of the witnesses themselves, and the honesty and intent of the person that they tell. So here are a number of accounts of dogmen in the British Isles, and I would like to thank Guy Fawkes, the Guy Fawkes, for asking me the question that made me think about my own bias on the subject. It's time to start afresh and try and see what is happening on the ground in reality and give the subject the respect that it deserves. So people are seeing and reporting tall dog-like creatures, figures, with pointed ears and snouted faces, up on two legs and walking like a man, often seen rising or falling to all fours with the speed that can up or can keep up with and outrun a travelling car at 35 miles per hour. So we start off Scotland, folks. We've got 2 here from Scotland, and then we'll start to get it wrapped up, all right? So we like our Scottish woo on here. So the creature of Loch Morar in the 1950s. So a witness reported that she had seen what was described to me as a hairy man with a wolf's head roaming near Loch Morar, a Scottish loch that notably also has a long-standing lake monster. Yes, I think that's called Morag. Lake monster legend attached to it, but me being from Fort Augustus, there's a bit of local rivalry going on there. Our monster's way better than Morag. Morag is a poor imitation of the Nessie. If the Nessie is one of these kelpies, that thing Morag is absolutely a selkie. Doesn't have half of the magic, half of the powers that my Nessie, my monster, has, right? Don't take my monster away from me. But that's another story altogether. And that it was further described as walking on 2 feet but running on all 4s. The witness, now in her 70s, described the creature at a distance of about 70 feet and said that it stared at me in a horrible way before bounding away. Now, up the Highland ways and things, the 1950s, this was a pretty conservative type place. I don't mean they voted conservative. I mean, it was like quite staunch. Parts of it were quite staunchly free church, we used to call them. You got your ordinary like Church of Scotland, but then you had these free Presbyterians and crazy stuff. Like totally, very, very pious, you know. I bring that up because it's not the kind of thing you would find these people, you know, a woman, you know, going back 1950s, thinking about to what she saw, a man with a wolf's head. It's not the kind of thing that I would imagine people would have made up back then, you know. It doesn't fit. If she'd come out with that back then, I would imagine, and again, I've lived in these small places, I know what happens when people say they see something, even if the locals don't automatically discount it, they still get laughed at. There's still that person from then on in that's seen that thing or whatever. You know what I mean? So yeah, interesting. Now the Oban Wolf man from the 1970s, I am gonna have to get in touch with my stepdad about this because he is an Oban man, born and bred. He's proud as heck of it. It's so annoying. But I'll need to ask him, and more importantly, what was he doing in the 1970s? Was old Franco wandering about with some crazy sideburns on, bit of a hairdo? Was he looking like a wolf man? So in the early hours of winter morning, I've just got this crazy image in my head of like Franco wearing his bell bottoms, you know, his cool going out, got his like velvet jacket on. Remember I had the velvet smoking jacket on one day? That's Frank's. So imagine that kind of burgundy smoking jacket, the big bell bottoms, and then this like kind of crazy wolf-shaped head. I can't get that look out of my head now. So in the early hours of winter morning on a stretch of road outside of the town of Oban. Now the witness was a mailman on his way back or his way to work who described seeing the creature racing along the road at a very high speed in the opposite direction to that which he was travelling. Now the beast totally ignored the shocked driver, who continued on his journey in a highly agitated state, not quite believing what it was he had just seen. But he was sure of the facts. It was around 3 a.m. Oh. Why is there always creepy stuff around 3 a.m.? Even the horror movies, they show you 3 a.m. That's when you wake up. You know when you wake up at 3 a.m., nothing good's happening then. But when do you ever remember waking up at 3 in the morning and anything good happens? Okay, on occasion it does. Okay, I take it back. And for a few brief seconds, he had encountered a tall, man-like figure with wolf features hurtling along the road at breakneck speeds. I've just got this crazy image now of Frank having turned into the Roadrunner. Neat. But who knows? Who knows? Dogmen, werewolves. I think they're out there. Wouldn't say I'm 110% convinced, but would I say they're not out there? Oh, hell no. Oh, hell no. Everything's in play here. We live in a weird and wacky reality, and that's just the stuff that we do know about. That's actually the stuff that we can prove. You know, there's plenty wackiness in the world, even without going to the paranormal and the supernatural. And I think all of it's in play. I think some of us are more prone to seeing some of these things than others. I think some of us are more inclined to be attracted to things of this nature. And when we're attracted to things of this nature, as we talk about on this show, then you can't act too surprised when maybe you start to bump into some of the monsters you're talking about or looking about on the internet. So with that said, that's pretty disturbing. I'm going to be heading over to tfrlive.com, and today's guest, I will get him up here. I'll show you how to find him. There we go. We just go over here, and it's Kevin McCairn, PhD. Boom. There he is. There he is there. Up to over 2,000 subscribers now. He's got some of the best thumbnails in the world. But he's going to be coming on today. And that's going to be in 25 minutes. I'm going to get Kev in just a minute. And we're going to head on over here. Jason, his new video is out. I've shared that over on not Facebook, Twitter. If people want to go and check that out. If you want to follow me on Twitter, at Kev_Baker_show. Just type Kev Baker Show. You'll find me. And yeah, I've shared that out. And today, to play us out, we're going to listen to a little bit of Polly. So, are we just going to pick a random tune, do we think? Turn the page. I think we listened to that one last time. We've definitely listened to that. Will we do the clouds? We think so? And of course, he started to upload his own shows now. He was on with Algorithm. Big shout out to you boys. That's over there. But today I'm going to play us out a bit of Polly. So please, 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 if you can, if you've got the time, join us over on tfrlive.com for the Kev Baker Show. Kevin will be on his channel as well, I believe. I'll be dropping links to that all over the place. And I invite you all to come and join us. It's going to be pretty serious. Kev's an expert on the brain. He's had papers published. And what he's seeing is something we need to talk about. And there's updates from the last time. And of course, Kev gets into some funny stuff as well. I'll try and trigger him along the way. Because if you haven't checked out Kevin's channel, Kevin McCairn, you have to. So then, check out Polly as well. I'll drop the link over here into our chat room. Where are we? Where are we? Where did it go? There it is. Boom. That's that there. Edward, big shout out to you, brother. Just seen you there when I looked at the chat. Cassie. Tony's still there. Armand's still there. Leslie's still there. I don't know. All good stuff. Even drones in there. How you doing, Aaron? We've got Tiffany. So then, that is Kevin McCairn on the line. He is just about to hit me up. That means it's time for us to think about making our way over to the main show. Thank you all for tuning in today. It was really quick. It was pretty cool, in fact. At least we had some structure to today. We had a couple of stories. Pretty cool. We done it live. Part of the mystery of Stonehenge. I am confident to say that science will hold up. There'll be people that have alternative theories, and that's okay. That's absolutely fine. We'll be on here to discuss all of them. But have they solved all of the mysteries? And even if they did, doesn't account for the dogman, right? So let's take a listen to Polly as we leave you today. That's as loud as it's going, man. Wait, I'll try another one. Hang on. I want something louder. Where are we? There we go. Try this one. There we go. There's Turn the Page by One Polynation. It's been a blast, folks. I am heading over to the main KBS. I hope to see you all there. Until tomorrow, have a good one and keep your mind open. Keep looking for the woo, but not to the point where your brain turns to black goo.